Welcome back. You're with us on India Today and we are bringing you Uttar Pradesh's Game of Thrones, the India Today Access My India opinion poll for Uttar Pradesh. And I'm going to put out now the most crucial part of this opinion poll data. Questions about who will form the next government in Uttar Pradesh, who the most popular candidate for chief minister is. Let's start with the seat share projections. If elections were to be held right now, India Today Access My India projects that the BJP will be in pole position with between 170 to 183 seats. The BSP of Mayawati likely to come in second with between 115 to 124 seats. The Samajwadi Party falling from number 1 to 3 with between 94 to 103 seats. Despite Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's much wanted vote, Kisan Yatra, the Congress likely to bag only between 8 to 12 seats. It's interesting that this is the first major opinion poll which shows the BJP with such a big lead. Past opinion polls conducted by CSDS, by C-Voter showed very different results. C-Voter showed a neck-and-neck race between the BJP and the BSP, whereas CSDS showed the Samajwadi Party in front. This is the first time the BJP is going straight in front and taking the lead. Let's look now at the vote share numbers. The BJP right at the top of the pack with 31% vote share, the BSP with 28% vote share, the Samajwadi Party with 25%, the Congress with 6%. That's the vote share percentages for Uttar Pradesh. I want to now go across to Sharath Pradhan first, because what this poll indicates, and this is the first major poll that is saying so, that the BJP is in the lead. And as we established in the first part of this program, a majority of this poll was conducted before the surgical strike. So it's not as if it's only the surgical strike that's propelling the BJP. Net, there seems to be some momentum riding on the lotus. Why do you think the BJP is beating the SP and the BSP, which is what the previous polls were saying? Sharath Pradhan.
No, if a larger chunk of the survey has been done in pre-surgical strikes, then it's quite surprising, because that was not the time when one expected BJP to be soaring so high. But that could be again only because of Modi. Modi continues to sell as the mascot of the party, because in any case they do not have a leadership to project here. They do not have any credible leader whom they could project as chief minister, and that is where they seem to be earlier lagging behind. Now it is a surgical strike which has taken them. I'm sure the surgical strikes must have made a lot of difference in this calculation, in this estimation, because that has taken the BJP ahead, but how they sustain it is what will matter ultimately.
Your sense on why this poll is different from previous polls, which showed either the BSP leading or the CSDS poll showed the SP leading. Your poll is suggesting that the BJP is in front even before the surgical strikes took place. What, according to you, is pushing the lotus? Pradeep Gupta?
Is that for me?
Yeah, you are asking me, Rahul?
That's right, Mr. Gupta, I'm asking you.
Okay, let me tell you one very important thing. Earlier we were talking about the delivery and anti-incumbency, and that is the main, basis of when people go to vote. If you can see the kind of demographic situation in the UP, Eastern UP contribute about 167 seats out of 403, and Central UP, which is this central focal for the Achilles government as far as the performance and delivery is seen or felt, see the difference. And in Eastern UP, if you go, all these basic things are literally totally different in comparison to the Central UP. So that's the one very important point need to be noted. The state has received the development or so-called some delivery, but not as a whole. Only the 81 seats, or you can say it's a Central UP, which is feeling.
That's interesting, and I want to put this in context for our viewers. This election is essentially the sum total of 4 sub-elections. And if you look very carefully at the data, in Eastern Uttar Pradesh and in Western Uttar Pradesh, the BJP is in the lead. In Central Uttar Pradesh, in the Awadh area, it's the Samajwadi Party that is in the lead, whereas in Bundelkhand, which is the impoverished, backward, usually drought-hit area, it is the BSP that's leading. So Uttar Pradesh is not one whole state in that sense. There are 4 different states, and Rajdeep, in that sense, it's very interesting. It's not as if the BJP is leading in all 4 states. The BJP is leading in eastern Uttar Pradesh, it's leading in western Uttar Pradesh. In central Uttar Pradesh, it's the SP that's in front. In Bundelkhand, it's the BSP.
That is true, and you've seen that in previous elections in Uttar Pradesh, barring 2007 and 12, where you had some kind of a mini wave, once in favor of Mayawati and once in favor of Akhilesh Yadav, Mulayam Singh and the Samajwadi Party. Clearly, at least at the moment, as per this survey, there is no statewide wave. But I think if this wave sustains itself in Western UP, where we've already seen some element of religious polarization taking place, plus in Eastern UP, where the development card, the fact that Mr. Modi is the representative of Varanasi and the benefits that they could have by playing the last by playing a better caste combination, non-OBC Yadavs as well as non-Jata Dalits, which has been the core of Amit Shah's success formula for that part of Uttar Pradesh, they will be in pole position. That is precisely, I think, why at the moment, while they are in pole position, they are not crossing the hump at the moment, is because there are parts of Uttar Pradesh where the BJP remains weak locally, both Central and Bundelkhand being good examples of that. So I think the BJP clearly from these numbers, because of what they seem to be gaining in Western and Eastern Uttar Pradesh, is the party to beat in Uttar Pradesh. And the other factor is the urban-rural divide. I think the one thing which is very clear is the BJP at the moment is much stronger in places where there are urban pockets than it is deep inside rural Uttar Pradesh. So I think Eastern UP will be critical. If the BJP sweeps Eastern UP as they did in the 2014 general elections, then that means the rural-urban divide doesn't exist and they will probably cross this 200 hump as per this poll. But one last point, in this poll, Rahul, 31% have said Mayawati is their preferred candidate.
Okay, I haven't put that out. Right, just 1 second. Just 1 second. I want to put that question out. Let me put that question out for our viewers. When we asked our respondents who was the preferred choice, and there are 2 data points which are very interesting. Question number 1, who's your preferred choice to be Chief Minister? Here, 31% of the respondents say Bayanji Mayawati is their number 1 choice to be Chief Minister. Coming in at number 2 is the current incumbent, Akhilesh Yadav, with 27% favourable ratings. Rajnath Singh comes in at 18%, a distant third. Yogi Adityanath at 14%, a distant fourth. And that really is one of the problem areas, GVL, for the BJP. The fact that Mayawati is the number 1 candidate, Akhilesh is number 2. You have no person in this list. You've got Rajnath Singh, who's been former Chief Minister, who's not even in contention this time. At least that's what he says. He's coming in at number 3 at 18%. And Yogi Adityanath, you don't want as your Chief Ministerial candidate. He is possibly your best bet with 14%, at least from a popularity sweepstakes perspective.
Rahul, earlier you told me not to speak like a party spokesperson. Now that you have asked me, I will answer this question. There is something called familiarity. You see, if you go back to your Maharashtra poll, if you go back to the survey results of your Haryana Assembly poll, you would see Bhupendra Singh Hooda and Prithviraj Chauhan topping the charts. Because they were the sitting chief ministers or they were in contention. The BJP did not declare a candidate then, therefore we did not have any name on the top of the list. But so is the case in Uttar Pradesh. We have not declared any leader. But if we were to declare, possibly he would have been transferred the entire popularity vote base of the BJP. But another point that was being discussed, Uttar Pradesh, you see parties like Samajwadi Party, BSP, they are largely casteist parties. And the demographic makeup of a particular region dictates the kind of electoral outcome in a normal election. But 2014 Lok Sabha election was a wave election where Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi was able to rally support from all across the demographic groups.
You know,
and you
stay with me, GVL. I want to now look at where this vote share is coming from. If the BJP is projected to pick up 31% of the vote share, the BSP 28. Let's take a look at UP's caste cauldron. And bring out who's voting for whom by and large. Let's start with the all-important minority vote, the Muslim vote of Uttar Pradesh. Remember, in the last election, they predominantly voted for the Samajwadi Party. This time, the BSP was hoping to make inroads. They've made some, but not substantial, because 58% of the respondents say they'll vote for SP. 21% say BSP. The Congress has only 5% of Muslim support. That is a very poor show from the Congress's perspective. Let's now look at the Dalits, the SC/STs. Here, in the SC/STs, the BSP comes out strong, with 71% of the SC/STs saying they will vote for Benji Mayawati's party. Amongst the Jatavs, it is even more. All the Dalit incidents that have happened, the atrocities against Dalits, seems to have impacted BJP's ability to pull some of the Dalit vote away. Remember, according to the 2014 post-poll data, the BJP had about 20% of the Dalit votes. That's now down to 9%. So the BJP clearly amongst Dalits losing ground, the BSP holding strong. Let's now look at the upper caste votes, starting with the Rajput, the Thakurs. Amongst the Thakurs, 60% saying the BJP, 9% saying the BSP, 14% saying the SP. So amongst the upper caste, we're seeing a very strong polarization. Starting with the Thakurs, coming to the Brahmins next, even amongst the Brahmins of Uttar Pradesh, a very strong support for the BJP, with 59% of the Brahmins saying they'll vote for the BJP. Remember, in 2012, Mayawati was able to bring the Brahmins on board with the Dalits. In 2007, Mayawati was able to bring the Brahmins on board with the Dalits. That's not happening. Brahmin support now down to 9% for BSP. Let's now look at the Yadavs, who are all important for the SP. Remember, I already told you, Muslims voting predominantly for the SP, even amongst the Yadavs, 67% of the Yadavs saying they will vote for the SP. So broadly, Mulayam's vote bank is still intact. The Muslims and the Yadavs, they may have lost some percentages, they're still voting for the SP. What seems to have happened, Rajdeep, is all the other castes that came on board, possibly taken in by Akhilesh's youth appeal, by the fact that they were fed up with the corruption under Mayawati, the bump vote that they got, that's the vote that seems to be going away. Their Muslim Yadav vote bank is by and large still intact.
Well, I think, yes, the MY combination is by and large intact if these numbers are right. But remember, closer to election date, traditionally Muslims have also tended to drift to the party that they believe at that time is in the best position to defeat the BJP, which is why I'm not completely going to rule out a stronger performance from the Congress than these polls show in certain areas where maybe a Congress candidate is in a better position to defeat the BJP. Having said that, what is also clear is that the Samikaran, or the social engineering that the BJP has done in targeting the non-OBC Yadavs, the non-Jatav Dalits, along with the Brahmins, the upper caste, the Thakurs, gives them a formidable caste base. This is where they benefited in 2014, which of course was a wave election, but this is where some would believe that even in 2016, there should be an advantage to the BJP. And that is why I think we are getting these numbers that
one of the worrying things, GVL, from the BJP's perspective is that you were trying so hard to woo the Dalits away from the BSP. In the 2014 data, I remember very clearly about 20% of the Dalits had voted for the BJP. That's what they said. Now, that number coming down, 71% of the SC/ST saying they will vote for Mayawati. Clearly, all these Dalit episodes taken together, Rohith, Vemula, what happened in Una, all of that together seems to have impacted how Dalits perceive the BJP. You're disagreeing, that's what the data is saying. As a pollster, you should be looking at the data, trying to learn lessons, not disregarding the data when you don't like it.
No, I think that's a complete misreading of the poll results, accepting that your results are reflecting the reality. The local Lok Sabha elections and state elections are a different ball game altogether. And the numbers, the kind of support we got from every section, we do not possibly, we would like to get that kind of support, but we were able to wean away a large section of the Dalit vote, a core vote of Mayawati in Lok Sabha. We we may not get that many numbers in assembly elections where she is the chief ministerial candidate. But once she loses this election, the entire vote base will come back to the BJP. We will certainly get a much stronger support from the Dalits.
Words from you, Sharad Pradhan. What could change? What could change between now and January, February when these polls do actually take place? How do you see the shape? One, of course, the fact that the euphoria around the surgical strikes could come down. There could be reactions which could have consequences, but on the ground, what do you see change? Sharad Pradhan.
Well, Rahul, before I answer your question, I'd like to reply to what Narasimha Rao said. The way the voters is moving in this, when he's talking about the as far as Mayawati is concerned, taking away Dalits from her party has not worked. A few of the leaders whom they bought over, or whatever, for whatever reason they switched sides, switched loyalties to the BJP, has not worked. Mayawati's recent rally has proved, and that was one of the reasons she made it a point to prove that all the desertions incited by the BJP have failed to make any impact on her party. The kind of rally that she addressed in Lucknow, she beat her own records where numbers were concerned. There were more than 3 lakh people, and it was at least 10 or 12 times bigger than what Modi was addressing yesterday in Lucknow. Fine, it was a Dashera celebration, that's how it was described, but all said and done, it was a rally. Now, as the elections come closer, you are absolutely right that if the surgical strike tempo it sustains, which can be done, in various ways. BJP may, people even suspect that there may be another strike closer to the elections, if necessary, or else if they are somehow able to maintain this tempo, then there is no reason that the BJP's graph would go down.
Okay, it's been a fascinating 1 hour.
But another important thing is BJP needs to most importantly project somebody as the chief minister as fast as possible. Otherwise they're going to, because the questions that, Modi certainly cannot be seen as a whatever vote is coming in the name of Modi, questions are being asked. Another thing which has been ignored.
Okay, I'm out of time. So I'm going to end it there. Sharad Pradhan, GVL Narasimha Rao, Rajdeep has his hand up, so I can't end. Okay, Rajdeep, very quickly, 20 seconds. We're out of time.
No, I just want to say that that's the risk the BJP runs. You project a chief minister and you make this a local election where the BJP may not be able to compete with a Mayawati or an Akhilesh. Their strength is Mr. Modi. They need to make this about national issues, about surgical strikes, about taking on Pakistan. That's their problem.
Okay, I'm out of time now.
This election purely
interesting.
On development.
Should the BJP project or not? Rajdeep says they're already in pole position. That's the way they should keep it. That is playing to their strongest calling card. Pradeep Gupta and his team of 60 pollsters who've been out night and day across Uttar Pradesh. Thank you so much for helping put this together. We will have a follow-up poll closer to the date when polls are announced. Rajdeep Sardesai, Sharad Pradhan for joining us. Thank you so much. Thanks also to GVL for joining us on this broadcast. This is the Game of Thrones, and like the case with the Game of Thrones you see on TV, you never quite know what happens next. Initially, the BSP was leading. Then some polls said that the Samajwadi Party is in front. Now, Access My India saying that it's the BJP on the back of consolidation of non-OBC voters, on a consolidation of upper caste voters as well, doing better than previous polls had projected. The game of snake and ladder is going on. We will be tracking this over 4 opinion polls in the next few months. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. News and updates continue when we come back.